Hi. I want to tell you a good one. You know Philister. Sure you do. Bought his last 2 cars here and really sends us a lot of business. Well, the other day I happened to overhear a couple of you men talking about a customer who was hard to please. That started me thinking about some of the customers we have and how they came to us in the first place. Out of the whole bunch, this fellow Philister was the prize. He stormed into our place one day, needed a brake adjustment, and asked me if we were a good, reliable outfit. I told him I thought we were, naturally. Then he started to tell me about the troubles he had in the city where they lived before. Now, you and I know that nobody can exaggerate like a dissatisfied service customer. Well, here are Philister's service problems, just as he tells them. But remember, this was before he bought his first Buick.
Hello, is this the service department? Well, my name is Philister, and I'm having a little trouble, and I'd like... Well, you're not taking any new customers, but hung up on me. Well, I'll try another one.
Williams Auto Sales. What salesman do you wish to talk to?
A service department, please.
I'll ring, but I don't think they'll answer. They're so busy.
Service.
I wonder if I could bring my car in.
You got any references?
No, I just moved into town.
Can't do a thing for you.
Philister certainly has a problem, hasn't he? Well, he'd just about given up on getting that car of his serviced when he happened to hear a TV announcement.
Men, having trouble getting along with the mechanics that work on your car? Having trouble getting your car serviced? Well, don't delay. Write today for details on how you can be the perfect service customer. Service departments love graduates from customer college.
So Philister wrote for details. A little while later, he found himself attending classes that would teach him to be the ideal customer. Here's what he learned. Proper customer attitude begins at the door. Many times, parts trucks, new cars, or other vehicles will be left parked in front of the service entrance. If there is a long line, it's better to skip the repair and come back some other time. However, if you do happen to get in the doors the first time around, the ideal customer stands by his car quietly. This is important because when the service advisor gets around to you, he doesn't want to spend time looking for you. It may take a little time, too, because these service fellas haven't had a chance to talk to each other since breakfast, and those stories are pretty funny. Just be patient, Philister. And when you're finally recognized, smile. This is important. If the write-up man doesn't like your looks, he can turn around and walk away. Then where would you be? Now, some service people may ask you what the trouble is, or at least what you think is wrong. For example,
what's the matter with your heap?
Well, when I turn the corner...
You need new hammer straps, new forner zones on the throw-outs, and a rebush job on crosshabs and kingpins. You're lucky I got a man available. We'll pull the transmission, too.
Well, now the trouble is down on paper. And don't worry about that writing, Philister. No one else can read it either. From here on, the ideal customer forgets he ever owned a car. However, in some cases, he may be asked,
when do you need it?
Oh, this is a trick question. If he says next month, chances are the service department won't have the storage space to handle the job. On the other hand, firming down the time is a mistake, too. The best way to answer is to mention a time without mentioning the day. For example,
how about 5 o'clock?
Okay. After taking care of these minor details, the ideal customer leaves the service department. This is important. You see, if Philister stayed, he might be tempted to talk to the mechanics or other service personnel to find out what was really wrong with his car. This wouldn't be playing the game according to the rules, as all good service customers know. Philister learned many other things that make the good customer. Of course, one of the largest sections of his training concerned the customer's behavior when calling for the car. After making several calls, Phil finally found someone who told him his car would be ready at 5. Of course, they didn't tell him what day. And of course, the car wasn't ready. This is where Philister's training paid off. Other customers might have been mad. Phil, on the other hand, realized that this was a normal situation to be faced with a smile.
I told you he exaggerated. But that wasn't all. There's more to his story. And if you think that last part was bad, wait till you hear the rest of it. About the bill, for example.
Finally, Philister gets a chance to pay his bill. Yes, the car is ready, but first, the bill. The ideal customer never questions the bill. Everything is there in black and white. Yes, everything is there in black, white, grease, and oil. Philister cheerfully goes into hock to settle his account. And then the hunt for the car begins. If the particular service department does not have a special locator for customer cars, Philister knows he'll have to find it for himself. Many customers are taught that this is a game that can be fun. Sometimes the porter will give you a clue like, try the southeast corner of Oak and Main Street. Or check out in back, next to the oil drums. See? That didn't take long to find. What's a couple of hours, more or less? These other cars can be moved, after, of course, the keys for all of them are located. And here are the keys. Or most of them, anyway. It won't take long now, and Philister will proudly drive the car, remade like new, home. Of course, the car will take a little cleaning, but Philister studied that when he learned how to become the ideal service customer. Anyway, the car is fixed. Phil knows that the steering has been corrected so that the wheel won't stay locked on a full right turn. Well, nearly fixed anyway. Now, in this situation, the correct approach on the part of the customer calls for returning to the service department and calling their attention to the fact that he may have failed to mention what was wrong with the car. So early the next morning, long before the shop opened, Philister went down to the service department to correct the trouble. With the proper attitude on the part of the customer and service department techniques such as you have seen today, you can be sure the customer will come back.
Well, that's Philister's story. Stretched a little, I guess, and probably stretched a little more each time he told it. But here's what I told Philister. We try to catch those little things before they build up in our customer's mind to big things. In fact, catching a little thing now and then gives us a chance to prove to him just how good we really are. I told him, too, that every one of us knows that if it wasn't for him and a lot of other good customers of ours, there wouldn't be any paychecks for us. Putting it that way, it let Philister know how much we appreciate his business. I wanted him to know, too, that we make good customer relations an important part of service, because if we lose just one customer through neglect on our part, that one customer could influence others. For example, everybody knows it's their responsibility to keep the service entrance clean and inviting. It's just good sense to show the customer you want his business by making it easy for him to get into the shop. And the customer is greeted by someone whenever possible the minute he comes in. Recognizing him right away makes him feel more at home. And the customer who's handled this way will have a lot more patience if he realizes the service manager's tied up and can't get to him right away. Here's a little gimmick that always works. The first man to talk to the customer finds out his name. From then on, everybody calls him by a name. Makes him feel good. Doesn't it make you feel important when you're the customer? Another thing, Do you know that outside of a man's house or business, his car is usually his largest single investment? We try to remember that and treat our customers' cars like something pretty precious. They like it because if they see that we're sincerely interested in keeping their cars in tip-top shape, their confidence in us begins to grow. It's a lot easier then to sell him on needed services which his car requires regularly. Yes, the little things that make the difference between the good customers we have in our Buick shop and the tough ones they get in some competitive shops around town. And, oh, say, here comes Philister now for his regular lubricare. That's my boy, and all because we treat him like we like to be treated. Remember that.